Let's talk Texas flip targets. A big one went down over the weekend when Josiah Sharma flipped from Oregon to Texas. And now the Horns are looking for more. I got Justin Wells from InsideTexas on to talk about the Horns' top flip targets. But first, Texas fans, hit subscribe to the On3 Recruits channel, the best recruiting channel on all of YouTube. Go ahead, hit subscribe for me, please. All right, let's bring in Justin Wells from InsideTexas, and we are talking flip targets. Let's start with in-state linebacker Riley Pettijohn. He left the state to go to Ohio State. Now, Texas was heavily involved in this one, and when he did commit, I don't think there was ever any question whether Texas was going to continue to pursue Riley Pettijohn. So do you think that, between now and National Signing Day, not anytime soon, but do you think we hear about Riley Pettijohn in Texas heating back up?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Johnny Nanson's not going to let up. Neither is Coach Pete Kwiatkowski and Steve Sarkisian, for that matter. Riley Pettijohn is a special player. He is an excellent young linebacker. Can play some inside, can play some outside. I think he's got versatility. He runs a 10-6, 10-7 in the 100. Like, Riley's special. Texas is not going to let up on him. Texas had a big lead early in that recruitment, as a lot of fans understand. Ohio State kind of turned the tide there late. That's not going to stop Texas from going at Pettijohn. The big key there is, can they get him back on campus for a game this fall? If they can do that, this thing will open back up.
All right, now we know they need some defensive linemen. Texas wants to add some talent in the trenches. Myron Charles, he's from Port Charlotte, Florida, and for much of his recruitment, it was an in-state battle with the three in-state teams kind of all rivaling each other. But then Myron Charles made a visit out to Texas, and he loved it. He was a heavy lean to FSU. He ends up committing to FSU, but is there still contact? Is there still something going on between Myron Charles and Texas?
There is. Kenny Baker is a big fan of Myron Charles, and for good reason. That they want to get that guy back on campus. There was talk about him possibly coming in on Thursday of last week, but that didn't materialize. Texas needs 4 defensive linemen. They have 1 right now. The big flip, Josiah Sharma out of Folsom, California, who they flipped from the Ducks a few days ago. They're not done. They need 3 more as a baseline. And so Myron Charles is on that big board. They really, really like him. I think the Florida State commit came a little out of nowhere, even though everyone kind of felt like they were the leader at the time. Mm-hmm. But I don't think this recruitment is over. I think we're going to see Myron Charles back in Austin for a game this fall. And I think this thing could go either way as we get closer to November and December. Defensive line is the priority for this class for 2025 for Texas. They are going to continue to pursue guys that they really like, that they've got high evaluations on, no matter who they're committed to. Myron Charles is going to be back on campus in Austin at some point. Then that thing will get real.
Yeah, and I'm willing to bet that the staff is not giving up on defensive lineman Zion Williams either. He goes 6'3.5", 330 pounds, and he's from Lufkin, Texas. So Zion Williams committed to LSU. This decision went down over the summer. I'm assuming Texas is not giving in here either.
No, and that one's going to be probably the toughest. Zion it has as much upside at defensive line than anybody in the country. He is tremendous. I love On3, bringing his rankings back up whenever they were re-released. I know Charles Power and Cody Belair did a great job of scouting him up. That one's going to be tough, but just understand Texas has a good little foundation with Zion already. It's essentially just Kenny Baker continuing to build that relationship. Look, he loves LSU. He loves Bo Davis. But Texas is not going to quit. This kid is too close to Austin. He's too close to the exact type player and disposition they need at that position. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying he's a flip. I'm saying Texas is going to try to treat him like one. They are not going to let up on the big guy from Lufkin, and they shouldn't. That's a relationship-centered kid, and you never know what happens in November and December.
All right. Now, the next name, I left Dakorien Moore for last. The number 1 wide receiver in America, the 5-star wide receiver from Texas.
Yeah.
How do we talk? I want you to talk to Texas fans on how to approach this Dakorien Moore recruitment and if and when you think Texas is going to double back and try to flip him.
Yeah. That's going to be interesting. That'll be something to watch. It's hard to not continue to talk to a kid like Dakorien because he's so special, such an incredible talent. But I think Texas has their eyes, no pun intended, on French and Lockett right now. Those are their main focus above all.
Right
you
now.
Get those two guys in the boat, then maybe you call Dakorien a little bit later and say, hey, what's going on? Just to check in with him, just to see how things are going with his mom, Marjan, and that family. I don't think they're going to push too hard right now. I don't think the contact is very strong right now. But get French and Lockett in the boat, and let's revisit this in a month or two. Because, again, there's a lot of ties for Dakorien to Texas, a lot. And we'll see if that those flights to the Pacific Northwest are going to be worth it for that family. Mm-hmm. Playing in the Big Ten in the cold weather in October, November. Let's see if it's going to be worth it at that point. Let Texas get French and Lockett. Then I think you could see them maybe rekindle that relationship a little bit with Dakorien more, but I don't think we'll see anything before that happens.
Yeah, I totally get it. The emotions have to be kind of raw right now coming off of his, commitment to Oregon. I think that this recruitment probably goes ice cold for a little while, and then games get played, feelings, get swept under the rug, and you double back, and all of a sudden, he pops up on campus at some point for a game, and then, we go from there. But for now, I agree. I think that things are probably on ice right now between Dakorien Moore and Texas, but that could change. You guys, Texas fans, talk to us. Comment section below. How do you feel about these flip targets, whether it be Pettijohn, Myron Charles, Zion Williams, or Dakorien Moore? Who do you think will end up back or end up with Texas when it's all said and done? Let us know. Comment section below. Well, you've made it to the end of today's video, but there's hundreds more videos on the On3 Recruits channel for you to check out. And also, while you're here, hit subscribe.